Yeah, that's right. I see the chat. I see y'all rocking. I see y'all coming. Hit that like button as you enter the building. You know what I'm saying? Hit that like button. Show your love. Show your support. You know what I'm saying? This that dope soul. This that new thing. Nobody don't know about it.
Hello, Knick family. Welcome to Lunchtime Live, the Knicks recap and reaction show. I'm your host, Stephanie, aka Queen, joined by my lovely, talented co-host, Geoff Klafter of the Happily Ever Klafter Daily Sports Blog, also a resident panelist on DopeSoulSports, the weekly show. Geoff, I don't have much to say tonight. I think you're gonna have to carry the show. The chat is gonna have to carry the show. I did watch the game. Charlotte is bad. This is bad. And listen, the Knicks did, as we were talking before the show, they did what good teams do. Good teams beat bad teams. And that's what the Knicks did. To your point, it was the second half of a back-to-back. I didn't think the Knicks, in my opinion, needed to play as many minutes as they played. I mean, Karl Anthony Towns played 39 minutes, more than his average on the second half of, of a back-to-back. I think we could have won this game playing, like, extending the rotation, in my opinion. That's how bad Charlotte looked to me. They did get back into the game at the end of the second. They got back into the game in the fourth, putting it to 8. And Deuce, I'm gonna leave some meat on the bone, Geoff. And Deuce does what Deuce does. Hits timely shots, hit a timely three-pointer to push the lead to 11. Brunson comes back with the and one. Next thing you know is 14, and that's all, and that's all she wrote. I don't really have much I don't really have much to contribute to the show other than what I just did. And I think it's because, maybe I need to fall back and just appreciate each game as it unfolds. I'm in this assessing the team in terms of the playoffs. Is this type of play, is this going to help us? And, like, this is the mode that I'm in. So when I'm watching a game like Charlotte, I'm like, I'm not going to get any information for why I'm watching the games, right? I'm like, I'm not getting any playoff information from Charlotte. So these games are not as enjoyable for me, but I do think I need to just probably go back into fan mode and just appreciate each game as it is without thinking about how this help us in the playoffs. Anyway, that's where I'm at, Geoff. The show is yours. Like, wherever you want to take
Wow.
this show is yours.
So I do think it's funny that there was a lot of buzz about the Knicks last night, and it had very little to do with our game against the Hornets, right?
We're going to talk about that.
Everybody was wanting to talk about the Greek Freak and
Right.
and all that, and I don't. We'll save that for this evening, but look, we needed Karl Anthony Towns to have a good game. He did. We figured Jalen Brunson would bounce back after probably his worst game as a Knick. He did. Are the minute totals a little bit too high? Maybe. But our bench players are already starting because of injuries, right? Who is it that you really want to put in the game? Like Jordan Clarkson, I know he was plus 10, but did you really want to see a ton more of what he was doing on the floor? I know I didn't. I know that's my thing, but I will say this though. The LaMelo Ball is like the Jordan Clarkson experience on an acid trip. That dude in the fourth quarter made some of the most brilliant shots and some of the most bonehead ones that I've ever seen, all in the same breath. Yeah. Like, it was crazy. Like, one time down the court, I'm like, he gets an and one on a three, and like the 2 times before that, he shot some ridiculous thing that, like, you'd have been on my bench. Like, if I was the coach, for even thinking about shooting that shot. So, but LaMelo Ball really carried the day in the fourth quarter for them. I thought, and I thought the difference in the fourth was the Knicks settled for a lot of long 3-pointers. I think they missed like 8 threes in the fourth quarter. and they were shooting a really good percentage before that. I think they were like 1 for 9 or 2 for 10 in the fourth quarter, and maybe that's legs on the second night of a back-to-back. Not really enthused about the process on those possessions, though. For the most part, I thought we settled. I think we just kind of, I call them heat check threes. We just kind of just, I've got the ball here. I'll just jack it up. Like in situations where we didn't even necessarily need it. I mean, you're up by 14 points with 4 or 5 minutes to go. There's no need for you to get a quick shot. Like get the best shot. And so, from that standpoint, I don't really want to nitpick a game that we won by going away, but it did get a little too close to comfort for me, with my post-traumatic Knicks disorder anyway. Like when the game got to 8, I was like, really? Well, because I have services on Wednesday night, so I didn't even get home until the fourth quarter. And so I turn on the game and the Knicks are up 18 and I'm feeling good and all the feelings and then here it comes. We're missing threes and LaMelo's heating up and it's down to 8 and I'm like, do I need to turn this off? Is it me? What's going on? And then as you said, Deuce kind of saved the day with stemming the tide and then Brunson with the N1 and then you stuck a fork in him. So I don't know that there's a lot to overanalyze with this game. I kind of agree with you. There's not, but again, I think what it goes back to is that our guy Jerrell, salute to him. He's in the chat. I can't wait to hear some of his thoughts this evening, but we're past the 20 game mark,
especially
now, right?
because we're at the 20 game mark. Jerrell does not want to talk about anything until we get to the 20 game mark, and we are there, so we can get his thoughts tonight.
So we're a fourth of the season gone, and we're winning 2/3 of our games, and I don't know that that's a surprise. I don't think it is by any stretch of the imagination. I think that's kind of expectations is where we would be. But look, if the expectations are such and you're meeting those expectations, then I think that, in my opinion, you call that success. Now, the road's going to get a lot harder. We've got, we haven't faced a lot of the juggernauts out west yet. We played some tough games in the Eastern Conference and had some decent wins, but we really do have quite a ways to go. But that's encouraging because when you're not close to your peak, which I don't think we are, and you're still 14-7, and you've still dealt with injuries to probably your best defensive player and your best, sixth man / starter and Shamet, like he was a key rotation piece as well. We've been without those guys, and we're figuring out how to keep the ship from sinking. And teams don't always do that. Sometimes you come across adversity and injury and it dooms you. Look what's happening in Milwaukee right now. I know they won last night, but now Giannis is out 2 to 4 weeks and they're like 4 games under 500. So, for them, it's looking really bleak as far as, this Eastern Conference and even making the play-in and being relevant is going to be awfully difficult for them. And so, count your blessings. 14-7 is a good place to be. And, there's a lot to like about this team, including the continued clutch shot making by McBride, which, as you said, is really becoming a staple of his game. Even if he has a bad shooting night, he seems like he's in the fourth quarter he's going to make 1 or 2 of those. But he hasn't had a bad shooting night in a good couple of weeks. I mean, he's really been on fire from the perimeter. So
he has been. I will say this, Geoff. We're 14-7. Because we just the teams we've played, we've beat them, but I think we still have a ways to go as far as process. Like when I look at this team, I see the individual talent, but it's nowhere. I don't want to say nowhere close. It's not close to what it can be. We're just not there yet. And you see that when we play bigger teams, physical teams, and when we play better teams. who are able to take away your first and second options, right? Who's able to, cut off drives, who's able to, they're not letting you get those backdoor cuts, right? That's when you kind of see that the Knicks offense, it doesn't run as smoothly. And you notice a little more Brunson. Thank goodness when things do break down, we have a Brunson. We're not there yet, but I was watching a game last night and I was feeling really good about the collection of talent on the team, even without OG. And even though it was the opponent wasn't tough, it's really good to see the last two games that, Carl Anthony Towns seems to have found his 3-point footing. You know, 3 of 7 last night, I believe it was, 2 of 5 against Boston. And I don't think that has anything to do with the competition because his 3-point shots are always open. It's just
Yeah.
whether or not he hits them or not. And the last two nights he's hit them. And if that's gonna, if that's back, that bodes well for Carl Anthony Towns and that bodes well for our team. And then I also like last night just the recognition from the Knicks. Like these are the things I want to see process wise. Just the recognition from the Knicks that Cat had the advantage. Like there's nobody on that team that can guard him, and he took the most shots on the team, and he should. When there isn't anyone that can guard him, he took the most shots on the team, and he was stout with the ball. Not all the time. Many times he's stout with the ball, and then sometimes he's like the straw man with the ball. Like any little bump, and he's flopping around. I'm like, look, I don't know if that's part of him trying to sell the call. But I just thought last night he was definitive in his moves, and he looked good. Now, for the Carl Anthony Town detractors, they're gonna say this feeds into the narrative. He plays well against bad teams that don't have anyone that can guard him, and against the tougher teams, he struggles. That hasn't been my experience with him over the course of seeing him with the Knicks and over the course of seeing him with the Knicks. I mean, in his career, but I can see where last night game means nothing. It means nothing to the Carl Anthony Town detractors. But I just like the process of the Knicks. He had the highest usage on the team last night, as well. The rebounding was there as well. So I liked what I saw from Cat. Anything
Yeah,
to add
I
to
think
that?
that's a great point, actually. But and to add to it, I actually think that one of the reasons we lost the Boston game is because we didn't continue to pound that advantage that he was clearly providing. Like the Celtics have no answer for Carl Anthony Towns. They have nobody who can guard him.
Hmm.
And, he was not our leading shot taker in that game, and he probably should have been. So it's
Hmm.
kind of nice to see that the Knicks hopefully learned their lesson and said, hey, when we've got this advantage inside, nobody can stop him. Just look, run a play until they stop it, and keep feeding that and keep pounding it. And then when you do that, other things are going to get open because he's going to be able to find, a cutter for a nice pass. He had a lot of good looks the last two nights. I mean, I really
Yeah.
thought he always makes that one-handed pass. That was what Clyde was saying on the broadcast last night. He's like in love with that one-handed pass and slick and
Hmm.
true to clever, and he was, and he makes a lot of those passes, sometimes eye-popping. And now he doesn't always do the, double pump fake dunk like on the fast break. That was a new one for me, but
Right, right.
but that was kind of a fun thing. Oh, I didn't know he could do that kind of a play. But what struck me too is in the post game interview, you could really tell Towns loves playing here. Like this
Of
is
course.
home. His dad is here. He's playing. Like if they do end up trading him, I think it's going to be kind of sad. I would love to see them win with Towns just because it just in so many ways it's like the perfect environment for him. I mean, it's home. So it's really good to see him when he does succeed. And to say one other thing is that you don't want to be a team that peaks in November and December. I mean, the
Right.
Chicago Bulls looked like they couldn't lose in the first, 12 games of the season, they looked like they were this unstoppable juggernaut. Now they're not even in the play-in, right? And
Right.
so,
Right.
while it's frustrating that we're not close to our peak, and I kind of think that's accurate to say, you were kind of hedged on that a little bit, but I
Mm-hmm.
liked it
Mm-hmm.
with the strength of that comment because I think it's right.
Mm-hmm.
We're not close to where we could be, but that's
Right.
good. I mean, even in Tom Thibodeau's teams, you saw
Yeah.
that they really started to gel and coalesce about game 60, right?
Yeah.
And then in
Yeah.
the last
Yeah.
month or month and a half, 2 months of the season, they would just bury teams and just
Right.
really get locked in and be playoff ready, so to speak. And so, I think that as far as distribution is concerned, I think that's fine. Like if that's what
Mm-hmm.
we're doing, if
Mm-hmm.
we're going through our growing pains, which is expected, right? It is a new coach and a new system. So
Right.
to have the expectation that you're just gonna pick up where you left off, maybe not the maybe not the easiest thing to do, but really we have
Mm-hmm.
like this in a lot of ways. This looks very much like the Tom Thibodeau Knicks, and it's different, but process wise, but from results wise, I think that's about what you would expect with him. And we are missing some guys, and other guys have stepped up, and we're learning a lot about a lot of different players. We're learning that
And lineups.
Kolek
Mm-hmm.
has looked good in spots.
Mm-hmm.
Clarkson is frustrating, but he's essential. Like I
Mm-hmm.
think come the playoff time, his ability to get in the lane and make shots is going to be crucial. And he's shown in the past he has a track record as a playoff performer, right?
Right.
He's shown in the past that he's able to do that, and that he some people shrink when it comes to the big stage, and some people elevate over the course of his career. We don't know what he's going to do for the Knicks, but over the course of his career, Clarkson has been one who's elevated his game in those situations. So you kind of hope that he turns into Alec Burks when in Tibbs' first season, that kind of a player.
Facts.
Um,
Facts.
Yabusele's kind of still discouraging to me. I'm afraid he's losing his spot in the rotation entirely. I mean, Huck Porty didn't meet a person. I think he fouled the popcorn vendor last night, but 6 fouls in 15 minutes. But he played well in his time, despite the fouls, and that's kind of to be expected from a young player.
Mm-hmm.
He actually got the defensive player of the game from Coach Brown. So that shows that he, and I think, from a bench point of view, I think the Knicks bench had like 6 points the entire night. Like it was
Yeah,
like
they
we
didn't
didn't get.
score a lot, but I do want to piggyback off of Huck Porty. He did foul a lot. Like I was surprised. It was 12 minutes actually. He had 6 fouls, but he played well in his minutes. Like I thought his minutes was good minutes. Block shots, screens, being where he was supposed to be, verticality, and that's what you want to see, from him and Kolek. This is what you want to see. Like these are guys that probably players that probably won't be in the rotation when we're fully healthy. But in these spot minutes where they have to step up due to injuries, like they can come in and give you positive minutes. Like that's what you want. Haporti hasn't been in, and I don't know how
Long
long.
time.
Uh, yeah, and he came in and gave really really good minutes, and that says a lot about a player, you know? And I think you had mentioned this before. I'm like, you got to be one. Like, what do you expect? These guys, come in and, they don't have consistent minutes. They don't know when they're coming in, when they're coming out. But he was like, okay, this is my time. This is my time
I
to
may never
shine.
get
And
back on the court again. I better
right,
play the best 12
right,
minutes of my life. I've got 6 fouls
right.
and I'm going to use them.
Right. Yeah, JJ Kolick was yelling at Huck Porty for not dunking, and I put that in my notes. I'm like, Huck Porty is trying to impress the coach by getting a spray. Like he got the ball right underneath the basket, and instead of dunking it, he's shooting it out for the 3 point. I mean, I get we try to get 20 sprays a game, but when you're that close, you gotta put it down. You know. So he'll do that. I'm sure he'll do
I don't
that
know. You got to do the
the next
spray and
time.
pray, like the coach says. You can't just, you can't just take those easy dunks under the basket. That's we don't want
I'm like,
we don't make it too easy. You got to give those 3-point shooters a chance to eat. We've got quotas to
right.
make. We got to shoot 40 a game.
And I think the player missed the shot, whoever
Yeah,
it was. I'm
McBride
like, come
missed. He
on.
sure did.
I'm like, Hope Porty, come on now. You gotta throw that down. But I thought he gave really good minutes. Kolick, good minutes. I mean, we could talk plus minus. We could talk about sometimes he gets beat on defense, but he competes defensively. And I'm loving the Kolick cat minutes. I'm just loving the Kolick cat minutes. Like he gets like 2 or 3 easy baskets just because of Kolick. When he's in the game, and I just like Kolick's confidence. If he's open, he's gonna shoot. And this is almost like a swing factor for him, his shooting. And I'm not sure what he's shooting on the season, but it just seems to me that whenever he shoots, he makes them more than he misses.
I
All of
think
that
he's a
being
little
said,
hesitant, though. I think he needs a little
you
more
think
juice
so?
in him. There was
Oh,
one play in the
look, he
fourth
can't be
quarter.
taking shots from the starters now. Like you just gotta wait your time. You just gotta wait your time, and
No,
when it
that's not what
comes
I
to
mean. I
you,
don't mean just hoisting him, but there was a possession last
Mhm,
night that stands out to me. I don't know why, but he caught the ball. He was open and he should have fired, and he kind of waited, kind of seeing
mhm,
what he should do with it, and then he ended up
mhm,
putting up. And it was the one 3-pointer that he missed. He was 2
right,
for 3, I think, on the night, but very
mhm,
impressive with 5 assists in very few minutes. And I agree with you. It's kind of like if Jalen would run the pick and roll with Cat, you kind of wonder what would become of it, because when Kolek does it, it looks fabulous. So I kind of wonder why that's not a part of our game plan so
sure.
much. I don't know if it's just that I don't know what it is. What do you think it is?
I think Kolek has better vision, and he's a better passer than Jalen Brunson. That being said, though, Jalen Brunson passing ability is better than what we've seen, because I just watching him in FIBA a few years ago, like some of those passes that he made, I was like, whoa. I didn't think he had that ability, but he does. Um, but he doesn't use it as much. And Kolek, like that's his one NBA skill. If he doesn't have anything else, is his not only the vision but the ability to deliver what he sees.
And
So
delivers the pass better than on nearly anyone I've ever seen. Just you want to talk about getting, and I know people are sick of me saying this probably, but his passes get in the shooting pocket better
right.
than almost anybody I've ever seen, and that makes a huge difference. As a high school and college coach, they
Hmm.
pass it and then it's to the right, and by the time they have it gathered and in a place to shoot
Hmm.
it, then they're not open anymore, right? So it makes a big difference when you could just dime it right there where it's right where they need it. And he's fantastic at that. I really appreciate that part
He
of his
really
game
is.
more than anything. Really, his defense is frustrating, but he's kind of slow. He's kind of small, so it's like, how much can you honestly expect of him? Like, in other words, he's giving you the output that you want. He's giving his best. He's trying really hard. He's fighting to get over screens and stuff. And his limitations are his limitations, but he's doing the most with with the skills that he has. And so you have to
Yeah.
appreciate that too.
And as long as you limit his minutes, and you're not throwing him out there for 30, 35 minutes, he's fine. Well, none of the bench players play that long, but as long as you kind of like limit his minutes, that decreases the amount of time that the negative impact shows, right? So, kudos for him for taking advantage. And I'm gonna be like Jeff, who every game has to tell us that Clarkson is not his favorite person. Every time we talk about Kolek, I have to say I still want a veteran backup. I still want a veteran backup. you know, um, guard. And the Knicks, per reports, are looking into that. Are looking into that as well. There's the regular season and there's playoffs. It's just two different seasons, and we've seen that ourselves. Um, you know, we yeah, over the years we've seen it ourselves. You know how players play in the regular season, and then here we go with the playoffs, and it's a whole different story. The player looks totally, totally different. Brunson, I know you mentioned this earlier, was much more efficient last night from two, not too much from three, but from 2 point, he was efficient, played within himself. I thought he was also the Eastern Conference Player of the Week. I wasn't even aware of that, but he was the Eastern Conference Player of the Week. Brunson is Brunson. Like, he's just not somebody that I worry about, and we don't even talk about him a lot on these shows. It's like, he does what he does. Bridges was back to being his smooth self, not forcing it. you know, um,
He was
yeah,
the stockbroker again, though. He had three
he was the
stocks.
stop.
Like
Yes, he
you,
did. Yes, he did.
so that's my guy. That's what I look at for him as much as anything, because it shows his activity and his impact in ways that, he's going to score sometimes, and he has that ability. And I think he's really, talk about someone who's shooting the ball efficiently. He's had a
Really.
dream season in terms of I know the three ball wasn't great last night, but I think he still shot 50% from the field. And I don't remember the last time he's had. And of course, now he'll probably shoot 3 of 13 in Utah against Utah, because I said this, but I
Right,
don't
right.
remember the last time that he's had a game where he didn't at least make half of his shots,
Right.
regardless of how many he's taken. So he's really locked in whatever Coach Brown is feeding him, like whatever the strawberries in his Cheerios, whatever it is. He's pushing all the right buttons with Bridges, because Bridges is comfortable. He's happy. He's playing his rear end off. He really is doing a great job. Uh, he's probably not going to get there, but when All-Star voting opens, he's going to get my vote every day, because I think he's been
Absolutely.
superb.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, for sure. Um, anything else? I mean, let's just go to the chat, see what the chat is saying. We may have to close this out early. Tonight we're doing the quarter season review, so be sure to check in for that. We'll also talk about the Giannis, rumors on the show. And then also I want to talk, if there's time, because that's a lot to cover. What do the Knicks need most between a backup point guard, a wing defender with size, or another big?
Yes, that's what they
And they
need.
won't be able to.
If we could just find a backup point guard with wing size who could defend inside, we would bring it home the championship. What? Where is that player? Calling.
Okay. Shout out to Sherwin, who's probably thinking as I'm thinking when I'm watching these games. Good afternoon. Can this team come out of the East? Is our interior and 3 point defense good enough? Do we need more scoring? What must we add to win a championship? That's a great question. I will also say, though, that we haven't seen the best version of this team, right? Like, how this team looks now, what is this, December, is not how they're going to look in March and April, right? So this team still has,
Not only that, you
a
haven't
ways to
seen the
go.
best of this team, and we're still the third seed in the East right now, and like knocking on the
Right.
door of the teams ahead of us. So yeah, you haven't seen our best yet, and and we're still right there in terms of where we want to be in the standings. Like, if we go on a run, which remains to be seen if we can. I think we will, though. I think when this offense is clicking on all cylinders, it really is difficult to stop. I mean, I honestly believe that we've seen it in stretches. For actually the last two games, I thought the first quarter of the last two games, we were like really,
Hmm.
really connected and on it. And the defense has had stretches too. So, um, you know, I think we're in a good place, because I don't think we've plateaued. I don't think we've peaked. And so, and we're not at the top of the standings where we want to be, but we're close enough where if we get on a run and we get hot, we can be exactly where we hoped we would be. So that's good.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Um, Shout out to Just Knicks, William Thompson, 3380. Appreciate you. Jerrell, you already know. He says he agrees with me for last night's game. He got nothing. It was just a game we should have won, and we did. Yeah, yeah, correct.
Hey, but shout out to the Knicks. There, that we didn't have those on the schedule for like most of the century. So, like, there was never a game. Oh, the Knicks should win this. Like, think
Right.
about the place that we're in as compared to the Fizdale years where we would win in like 10 games, well, not 10 but 17, 20 games, and what a disaster it was. So to have the luxury to say, hey, this was a game against an inferior opponent talent wise, we could never say that. And and even on the second night of a back-to-back without three rotation players, we still crushed them. Like, what an amazing luxury that is, right? How far
Yeah.
we've come.
How far we've come. Charlotte helped too, because because they're a mess. Shout out to Nick Yak. Appreciate you. JJ wants to know when was the last time Clarkson hit a three. Shout out to Darlene. We appreciate you. Somebody wants to sign Alfred Payton if he was still available. Appreciate you as well. Who was that? L No Cool at L No Cool. I hope I got that.
That's Alfred Payton's
Um,
cousin, probably. I don't know why we want Alfred Payton.
Shout out to One Shot D, Randu. Appreciate you, Darlene. I think I said Darlene. I appreciate you. Um, okay. I think. Oh, I did want to. Um, this was in reference to Cat. JJ said it's not that he doesn't do well versus good team, it's that he struggles in the post versus big body defenders. And I think part of that is because Towns has to switch up his attack. Like if you have a strong defender, why are you still trying to back them down like you would back down you know, uh, a weaker defender or a smaller defender? You got to use a different strategy. So if you're using if there's somebody strong, I'm not backing them down. I'm turning around. I'm doing maybe a half hook. I'm turning around, shooting over them. Maybe I'm driving in the lane and taking a mid-range shot. I think it's the recognition that, when he's in the post, I gotta back down everybody. Whether they're big bodied and strong, whether they're slim, slight, I gotta do the same thing because I'm in the post. And that's not the case. I think his recognition can be better. Even in the post, you don't have to body people to get a shot. Tim Duncan didn't, do that. Patrick Ewing didn't always, do that. Like and he has height and he has touch. For some people, that's all they have. They don't have any choice but to body you. But bully you. He has height. He has touch. I think he does need a different approach when he's going against smaller. I mean, bigger, stronger um, players. All right. Kerry Cox, I appreciate you. Nick Yak wants to see more Kolick than Clarkson. I mean, Clarkson is an experience, um, to your point, but I just think in the playoffs, you're going to need Clarkson. I don't think Kolick is getting off the bench in the playoffs, in my opinion. Um,
If
and I'm
Shamit
not
were
taking
healthy, we
anything
wouldn't
away.
be seeing him now. Let's be honest, right? If Shamit is healthy, we're not seeing any Kolick minutes. I honestly believe that. I don't mean to disrespect him. I just think that that's the truth. Like, I think he. But look, over the course of the season, Thibodeau used to say it. You're going to need everybody, right? So good on him when he's being called upon. He's playing well. Uh, with the realization that he's probably not going to be a rotation player if this team is healthy, and if we have to play him heavy minutes in the playoffs, we're probably in trouble.
Right. Because in the playoffs, not just Kohler. In the playoffs, they just search out whatever the weaknesses are, including Brunson, right? Put him in pick and rolls like Boston did. Like you're gonna see a lot of that in the playoffs. And I don't. I mean, Jeff, when we were fully healthy, Kolek didn't play. So it's not like it's an assumption. When we were fully healthy, he was out of the rotation. So I expect, the same thing. But it's just really good to see that when he gets those spot minutes, when someone goes down, you can put him in there and you're getting positive minutes from Kolek. That's great. That is great. All right. Shout out to David Smith. Appreciate you always showing up when Cat plays very well. There was a game last week when Cat was terrible, and I was like, "Where's David Smith?" I was like, "Where's David? David Smith is not in the chat." I'm like, "All right, I'm gonna give him a break. Maybe he really had something to do today." Um, okay. Lonnie Meek says you see Brunson make long passes to McCall and Hart when they can go right up. As Brunson passes half court, the defense crowds him. That blocks his vision. Okay.
I kind of wish he was a
Building
better
block.
lob passer, don't you? Like
I
that
do.
just seems to be something that's absent from his game, and I think that he would really benefit if he's good at throwing lobs. I think he would probably get 2 or 3 more assists per game, and it's really weird because he has that floater game that's on point. So you would figure that the mechanics of throwing a lob wouldn't. I don't know. Maybe I'm not a point guard, so maybe it is a lot different. But you would figure that that would be something that that he would be able to do. But it's never been a skill that he's really shown at all in his career. I mean, every once in a while he'll throw one, but it's not certainly not something he's going to do on the regular. And I think if he had it in his arsenal, it would benefit the team because I think it'd get us an extra 6 to 8 points a game because I think those plays are available throughout the course of the game.
For sure. When we were talking about what we need, JJ said we need a center and a wing. Kerry Cox, let's cut to the chase. We need Giannis. Building block said we need more defense. Nick Yak said we're missing what we thought Yabu would bring, another power forward. Ajay would love that. That wasn't even one of the choices, but Ajay wants a power forward. David Smith said he's concerned about Brunson against good physical defensive teams. Stop it, stop it, stop, stop. How many times have we watched Brunson against physical defense? Do they bother him a little bit? Absolutely. Do they stop him? No, no. We've seen length, we've seen physical, we've seen so many things, over the years.
Remember the end of the Detroit series last year. Amen Thompson has strength and length and physicality, and he got shook out of his shoes all the way to the bench, and we got the game-winning three-pointers. So,
Right, right.
Brunson
I
is.
think that's.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, finish, Jeff.
I
No,
was, it
finish.
was a, Brunson has at that next level. I think did he had a streak where he was just on a 30-point bender in the playoffs. Like he was our only guy, a couple years ago, and he was putting up like Michael Jordan type numbers for real.
And they were
Like
throwing everything at him,
yeah,
schematically, player wise. I think for us as Knick fans, if somebody has a bad game or a bad stretch, we just overblow it to now this player can't play against physical defenders. Cat has a bad stretch, and now Cat can't even play in the league. you know, like, like guys have bad games, guys have bad stretches. I don't think we need to overblow it, particularly if the player has a large body of work, as both Brunson and Cat does. We know who they are. So there's no sense of, Brunson struggles one game. Oh, he doesn't know. He can't. He struggles against, struggles. Not that some defenders give him a little trouble and because of that he has to work a little harder. No, no, no. He can't perform against, like that's too much. That's overstating it. Um yeah. Raphael Nick's podcast. Yeah, appreciate you. Stopping by Antisocial Lola. Is that what they said? Miles Turner is the Milwaukee Buck we need to trade for. Do you like Miles Turner with Cat, or are you saying trade Cat for Miles Turner? I'm curious. I'm curious about that. Yes, building blocks. I'm with you. Cat needs to punish defenders with a nice short jump. I think Cat is he's just working too hard in the post for somebody with his height and his touch. He's just working too hard. He can get his shot off without all this banging. All right. Um, Kolek by the playoffs will be even better. Come on, Nick Yak. He was out of the rotation. The only reason he's in the rotation is because of injuries. Now, when you say he will play, can he get spot minutes? Like, do I see him getting spot minutes in the playoffs? It's possible. Do I see him being a part of the regular rotation? I mean, no disrespect to him. If Kolek is in the regular rotation in the playoffs, that means somebody went down and we're in trouble. That's just the truth of it. Um, okay. I think, yeah. Shout out to um Dwayne Dennis says, as good as Josh Hart has been, I hate his herky jerky indecisiveness when handling the ball. When he's free and will not take the open shot, he creates something many turnovers, hesitating with the shot. I think is much better than it's been in years past, but I hear you.
And
It's
Hart's played really well. As I
antisocial
think Hart's
Olo. Okay. All
I
right.
think Hart's
Yeah.
hesitated a lot less this year. I think he's been much better about taking shots when he's open, and his percentages have been good. That has something to do with it too, I'm sure. But I'm pleased with what we've seen from Josh. Like, this is the version of Josh Hart that I want. Like, I have very little to complain with it in his game.
This is a
I
better
mean,
version because he's hitting shots.
yeah, absolutely.
There'll always be a boneheaded play once. I mean, that's just part of it. That's the Josh Hart experience. I'm liking this term. I'm liking this term. That's the Josh Hart experience, right? There's gonna be one or two boneheaded plays, like a half pass. Like, am I trying to pass it or not? And then it's a turnover. you know.
Yeah.
Um. Anyway, any last
We got a big show
oh,
coming up tonight, guys. Don't forget to
big
tune
show.
in tonight at 9 o'clock Eastern. Jerrell should be there with his 20 games. Now he'll finally, Jerrell speaks, so be ready because he's EF Hutton. When Jerrell speaks, you better be
Right,
listening because he talks the truth.
right,
And then
right.
Ajay will be back with us as well. It should be a fire show.
Yeah.
I don't know. We might have some special guest stars show up. You never can
Yeah, I
tell.
would love if Delusional can join us, or whoever can join us, and maybe we'll drop the link. I'm not set up for calls, but we could definitely drop the link so whoever would want to pop on. And you could just do audio only if you don't feel comfortable using the camera, and just kind of give us, your thoughts. We're not going to be able to get to everything. Josh Hart may have earned his starting spot back, but that's another question when OG comes back. Is it Mitch? Is it Josh? Is it McBride? That's another question. But I don't think we're going to be able to get to um, all of it tonight. But we'll have two questions in the bag just in case.
Gonna be
Any last
fire,
words,
guys.
Jerrell?
That's all I got. I know you got to get back to work. These are awesome shows. They're therapy when we lose, and it's good to celebrate together with the win. Although this is kind of like, I don't know how to describe it. It's kind of like when in the cartoons we see the little mouses in the stands and they're like, "Rah, we beat the Hornets,
Right,
yay!" Like,
right.
not exactly a major celebration, but look, if you're gonna get to 50 wins, these games are important, right? So, and 50 wins is
50
where we want to
wins,
be.
but even more than a 50 wins, the seeding. the seeding, and the more you win and the more you beat up on these teams, the more wins you get and the better seeding you have in an opportunity um to get. So yeah, yeah. Yeah, thank you, Jeff. Like, I came into the show thinking I'm gonna make an opening statement and I don't really know what else I'll have to offer to the show from
Well,
watching last night's
one thing
game.
you should know: preachers can't ever be quiet. So I can I can run on for a long time, like Eutychus falling out of the window with Paul. You just have to be careful of that. I hope nobody fell out of the
Right.
window, because we don't have any miraculous healing power. At least I don't. So hopefully you stayed awake through this one.
Yeah, yeah. Appreciate everybody in the chat, the replay gang, of course, the silent listeners. We appreciate you. And I'm looking forward to tonight, the quarter mark show. Looking forward to that. Until next time, family. Peace.
Sister, you one of a kind.